The first great phase of Mozart's brief life was that of the travelling child prodigy, a ferociously gifted young performer and composer who grew into the genius that, working within the restrictions of his day, began to rewrite the musical rules. But there's another facet to Mozart, the adult thinker, aware of the bigger picture, passionately attached to the progressive values of the Enlightenment, a composer at the height of his formidable powers, determined to succeed in the most difficult and lucrative area of all, opera.
Tamino, have I offended you? Do you not love me anymore? Papageno, at least tell me what is the matter with my friend. Oh, this is worse than death.
The magic flute, written at the end of his short life, stands as the ultimate expression of Mozart's ambition to communicate the complexity of human life and the depth of human emotion through music and theatre.
Ten years earlier, and Mozart's at the crossroads. At 25, he's too old to be a prodigy, but he's yet to prove himself as a mature composer. So, here he is in provincial Salzburg, where there's neither a good orchestra nor an opera house. He's still living with his father and sister, and despite having served his apprenticeship with over a dozen stage works, he's still desperate for things to happen.
This desire to write opera is so strong. I hear an opera being discussed and I'm consumed with envy for its composer. It should be me in that theatre with my orchestra tuning their instruments, my singers putting on their costumes. Oh sister, I've become quite beside myself. I can hear my music.
In Salzburg, there wasn't a hope of such a commission. The Archbishop had closed down our theatre company, which was a tragedy for all the people of Salzburg, whose rage for the theatre was immense. Our town looked to the coming of a company of strollers with as much eagerness as the inhabitants of Siberia looked to the return of spring. Blessed was the season that brought us the company of Emmanuel Schikaneder.
Hello, Emmanuel Schikaneder. I believe I'm expected. Oh, dear boy. Wolfgang, how nice to see you.
Salzburg was always a good town to play, and when I bumped into young Mozart, we hit it off immediately. Well, like me, he was a seasoned travelling performer. We soon became firm friends with the whole Mozart family. We took coffee together, gave them free tickets. I demonstrated my various roles, my dandy, my tyrant, my Hamlet, my fool.
Sir, the actor and impresario Emanuel Schikaneder, who arrived in Salzburg town today.
This is an honour, sir.
Herr Schikaneder.
Emmanuel, this is my dear sister Nannerl.
Oh, my dear. What a pleasure it is to meet you.
Will you take some wine, Herr Schikaneder?
Oh, well, I never refuse an offer of wine. Thank you very much indeed. He was absolutely a man of the theatre.
Delightful.
It was in his blood. We often spoke of the need for a true German language theatre. I remember him saying to me, I don't believe Italian opera can last forever, and besides, I'm German. I prefer German opera, even if it is more difficult to get a commission.
Herr Schikaneder, will you honour us with a song?
Oh, I hardly think this is the... Well, as it happens, I do have a little something which your brother may be familiar with. If I could... In our repertoire, we already had a musical play that the prodigious Mozart had written at the tender age of 12. Bastian und Bastienne.
My beloved, so enchanting, soon I'll see your lovely face. Your sweet charms will end my yearning. Wealth could never take your place, could never take your place.
Oh, Schikaneder, what a fine fellow you are.
Dear boy, will you write us an aria for our new play?
Give me your text and I will write you something tasty.
Wonderful! Damn it, but on that occasion things were cut short. Wolfgang was suddenly away to Munich with an important opera commission in his pocket. Oh, I was truly sorry to see him go.
I shan't forget the sight of Schikaneder running like a goose through the streets of Salzburg, waving goodbye to my son's carriage. And the aria... Every time Wolfgang wrote, he made a different excuse. He missed the mail coach, and surely it would be on the next run. I had to tell such lies, and I am not a good liar.
Schikaneder and Mozart begin a friendship that won't mature for another decade when they'll write the Magic Flute together. But here and now, Mozart desperately needs to find an official, paid position. He's on his way to Munich because the Elector of Bavaria has commissioned him to write an Italian opera in the serious style.
Idomeneo will tell the story of a hero's return from the Trojan Wars, a typical mythological subject for the formal and stylized opera seria, or serious opera. Where another composer might be tempted to rewrite or break the rigid rules, Mozart will inhabit the form from the inside and expand its possibilities.
And where was my son more likely to succeed than in the theatre? He had the benefit of my advice. Don't neglect the popular style. Write for the unmusical public as well as the musical ones.
The author of the text was Abbe Varesco, chaplain to Leopold's employer, the Archbishop, back in Salzburg. Leopold readily agreed to be the middleman between the poet and his son. He couldn't know it, but this would be his last detailed involvement in one of Mozart's projects.
I lived every moment of rehearsing and writing that work. I became indispensable. We corresponded every day. Varesco soon tired of changing the verses, but Wolfgang was determined that all the singing should have the natural flow of conversation. He'd say, well, this is a good verse, that one could be more dramatic, this one could be shorter, this one will get rid of it altogether.
His childhood years on the road had exposed Mozart to the best art and entertainment that Europe had to offer. Now in Idomeneo, he had the chance to demonstrate his dramatic instincts.
Damn this cold! What I need most of all right now are cheerful spirit